Going on, my Houston Texans family? Hope you're all are having a blessed Thursday. Look, I know it is week 2, but I am calling this game a must win for the Houston Texans. I don't think right now the fan base could survive another offensive performance like they saw on Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not a fan here in Houston, you might think we're overreacting, but the conversations here are hot. Now, we're going to talk about this week 2 matchup, and honestly, we're going to talk about how this Houston Texans team could bounce back. But before we get into that, this episode is brought to you and powered by Sleeper. Think you know football? Then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players with more stats than any other daily fantasy app. Just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code 713HOU, and you get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. You see the icon right next to me. I'm going to take that 0.5 yards for Jaden Daniels. We're going more, and you know what, Jordan Love, I'm going to give you some love. I think you're going to throw for more than 226 passing yards. We're going to put $10 on this, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, 713HOU gets you that. Let's go ahead and lock it in, and there it is. There it is. We got Jaden Daniels over a yard and Jordan Love over 226.5 passing yards. Guys, let me know if you're tell. Hope I could win you guys some bread. Week 2 is a must win. There's no other way to put it in my book. Well, you need to see the offense bounce back, right? I think we could muster a loss if the offense went out there and put 20-something points. We're looking at the defense and say, hey, what's going on? Maybe you had a bad day. So maybe I'm switching the topic around to the offense. If the Houston Texans lose on Monday Night Football because of the offense, there's going to be a big, big problem. I saw this stat earlier. Now this stat, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's horrible. There's no other way to put it. The Houston Texans have scored 7 or less points in the second half in 12 of their last 18 games. That's almost a full season, ladies and gentlemen, of this Houston offense not being able to score in quarters 3 and 4. That's just horrible. That's laughable. Like, I don't understand how someone could hear that and say, we got to be patient. I understand it's week 1. But I felt like I have been saying that since my existence as a Houston Texan fan. It's only week 1. It's only preseason. It's only training camp. We got to start seeing things right in front of us for what they are. And as of right now, the Houston Texan offense is non-existent. Now, these conversations all die if they go out there and put up 17-plus points. They go out there and score a touchdown. We're not having this conversation no more. But the reason why we still are is because we saw the same things in game 1 that we saw all last year. Now, I also see the sides that say, maybe the Los Angeles Rams defense is just that damn good. And I'm starting to kind of, add that into the equation and say, hey, man, they were beating your ass, but you still had an opportunity to win the football game. However, I don't want to fall into ifs. I don't want to fall into maybes. Because Dare did fumble that ball, and the Houston Texans did lose, and they did not score a touchdown. Now, one thing that I think this offense needs is their starting offensive line unit to be out there. Like we mentioned yesterday and previous days before that, Ed Ingram not being able to play really threw this offensive line into chaos. You had Cam Robinson, who hadn't practiced for weeks, go back to left tackle. You had Ariante Urshri, who looked great at left tackle during training camp in the preseason, go to the right side and look horrible. Once again, I'm going to read you the PFF grade, which was brought to us by Cody Stutes. PFF grades, let me see, because I like a lot of things on Twitter. Shout out to Cody Stutes. Offensive line grades from PFF aren't everything, but they aren't nothing. Texas rookie tackle Ariante Urshri was the lowest graded rookie lineman from week 1. His 29.4 pass block rating was the only rookie lineman rating below 30. He was the only rookie lineman to have an overall offensive grade below 50. Now, this was before Monday Night Football. So, wasn't a good day for Ariante Urshri, a rough welcome to the league. And then you had Titus Howard go to guard. One player made you move 3 starters around. Now, practice, I think, is going to start in a couple of minutes, and Cody Stutes and Landry Lonker will have us up to date on that. They do a fantastic job. But if Ed Ingram is healthy and ready to go, I am going to be looking forward and I'm going to have a little bit of hope for the offense. But then I'm just going to have to pray for the remainder of the season that we get no injuries whatsoever. Let me also say, isn't it strange how we're having these offensive line problems? And you have Juice Scruggs, who was a second-round pick, and Blake Fisher, who was a second-round pick, just not be anything for you right now? You know how insane that is, how sad that is? It would be fantastic if Juice Scruggs was the player we thought he was and Blake Fisher was the player you thought he was, because you could have had a starting right tackle and a starting center. Unfortunately, those two have not panned out, and it doesn't look like they are going to pan out because the Houston Texans are choosing to play guys who were considered one of the worst in the leagues last year, Laken Thomas and Ed Ingram, instead of Blake Fisher and Juice Scruggs. But if the starting offensive line goes out there, I will have some confidence, some hope in this offense. I also want to see our new OC, Nick Caley, man. It's okay if you feed Nico Collins. It's okay if he ends the game with 15 targets. This is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL when healthy. DeMeco Ryans said it himself. We got to get the ball to Nico. Get the ball to Nico as much as he can. Yes, he said that with a smile, but I know he 100% means that. You got to get number 12 the football. He has shown you the previous 2 years he is elite at what he does. I can't believe I'm going to say the next part. I don't care if you got to give Nick Chubb the ball 20 times. Give the ball to Nick Chubb 20 times. I got no faith in Dameon Pierce whatsoever. I don't understand why he's still on this team, even though he didn't play at all in training camp in the preseason, yet he got carries in week 1 of an NFL game and didn't look good in those. Dare, stay on special teams, buddy. Stay on special teams. Woody Marks, I want to see more of Woody. We got to see the Chubb and Woody. We need to see the Chubb and Woody connection. But I don't mind going out there and giving Woody Marks some carries. I don't mind going out there and putting some strain on Nick Chubb. He did look good against the Los Angeles Rams. Ladies and gentlemen, Houston Texans win this game, and I think they will. We're going to have a fun conversation about why we need to relax. But, knock on wood, if we're having the same conversation that we had on Sunday night about the Texans and their inability to score on offense, the conversations are going to start to get real ugly. They already are. Like I said, I've seen fire DeMeco, fire Nick. CJ's not the guy. They're only going to get worse. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Can this Houston Texans offense bounce back? What does it need to bounce back? For more Houston Texans content, you guys all know what to do. Feel free and follow me for more. Go Houston. I love you guys. Episode brought to you in power by Sleeper. Promo code 713HOU. You guys have a very blessed day.